Hello and welcome back to the Starladder Invitational, Starladder I-League Invitational actually, and we are also the first ever miner from the Valve Pro circuit. We're in Group A, we have 4 days of Dota ahead, this is day 1. Group A is played out and we have 4 teams that, one of these teams is going to be moving forward to the last day. Let's skip 2 days, easy. VG was not able to take down SG Esports, so they're in the lower bracket waiting for the Saturday beatdown, where it's basically elimination day. It's going to be a very rough day that day. Team Liquid is in the upper bracket together with SG as they just took out Mineski. And that's the match we're going to watch right now, SG versus Team Liquid. And to talk you through all of that, I have a splendid panel with me, Capitalist and Winter. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Winner, I actually didn't get to see the opening panel comments, so I don't know how you felt about it. But what did you think? Like, I thought Vici Gaming and how good they looked in China, I thought they were easily going to be able to, like, 2-0 SG. So I was very surprised when we watched those games and SG won 2-0.
Yeah, same. I was kind of surprised too. I think SG played more like the Vici I was expecting, and Vici played more.
Yeah.
Vici
Yeah,
played more.
expectations flipped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. SG was really impressive, though. Like, execution-wise, I think they played very well. Like, Vici Gaming definitely did not play so hard.
And what impressed me the most was they had a very clear system around how they play. And usually when I see newer teams, they tend to play really well like in the lane and they have very high individual skills, but they are lacking in terms of the team movement, warding, smoke, and everything. But this team did not show that they were lacking in those departments. They were really solid in the team movement, the smokes, the wards. Everything was really good in the games they played against Vichy.
The execution of like their Earthshaker like ganks and the way that they would play around him, like they would have the Earthshaker go off solo and use their boots of travel advantages. Like they would show on other sides of the map.
They were really fast when they were playing as well. How they move from lane to lane, how they push out the waves and they set up a gank on another lane. And the Underlord, the second game was really, really impressive as well. The way he used his ultimate.
You would not be able to tell that this team has only been together for like a month. It's really been that short. Sure, those 4 players and 4DR, they've been together as 4 players already, but just jump in, get with 4DR and be able to perform like that is really impressive. And their qualifier route was not easy either. They actually had to go through the lower bracket most of the time, but once they got their groove going, 2-0s and almost everything. They're going up against Team Liquid. Speaking of 2-0ing almost everything, or 3-0ing if you're talking about TI Finals. They haven't had any official games in between TI Finals and today. And maybe having a little bit of a rocky start with that first game today. But after that, I mean, they've just been dominating Cap.
Yeah, for me, I would say like game number 1, like strategically maybe wasn't exactly what they wanted, but play-wise, they did really well.
Yeah.
Like after that game 1, I would have such a confidence boost because they outplayed Mineski so well in so many of those team fights. So I think that like if I'm Team Liquid, obviously I'm full of confidence going into the series. But if I remember Kuro's like right, he's always trying to like hem those expectations, hem those confidence.
Don't
like,
think
he's
about
always trying
winning.
to keep his team down. I don't know what he said, what he would have said to Miracle in that whole fountain diving escapade that he went off on, but Kuro always seems to be the guy who's kind of keeps the team from going too aggressive.
Winter,
The dives.
Yeah.
Stop diving, guys. Come back.
Kuro's gonna be mad about that. He's gonna be like, just hit the tier 2. What's wrong with you?
I mean, there's going to be some stern talks happening right now because they're still preparing the teams. Winter, do you feel like SG can do it against Liquid because they're up against a whole different beast right now, and we saw them win, and they were strategically so good. As you mentioned, how do you feel like now you've seen both teams win? How do they match up?
Like obviously Liquid is gonna be favorites, but they definitely have a chance, a solid chance. I think I would probably say maybe 7-3 or even maybe 8-2. Like they definitely have a solid chance at beating Liquid here.
8-2 is really not that much. That's not really a solid
Comparison,
chance at all.
to everyone
TI
else.
champs, they are the TI champs. You
Fair
have like
enough.
8-2 or a 7-3 chance to win the game, and you are a new team that formed for 1 month. I'd say that's really good odds. That is actually really good odds.
I think their style matches up relatively well against Team Liquid as well. If you think about like how Liquid likes to play and the fact that they play kind of greedy, but they also rat quite a bit. And I feel like you need those kind of really strong initiations. That was something Mineski, like, they really lacked in that game 1 especially.
Yeah.
They had, instead of sort of like a lane dominance, it was sort of a trade-off, right? But I feel like SG Esports and the way they're going to play and how fast they're able to move, I think they will contend somewhat with anything Liquid try and do when it comes to greediness and forcing heroes around the map and trying to split them up. That being said, whether or not they're going to be good enough to actually beat Liquid all the way through, because Liquid is also really good at teamfight execution as well. So they may have that one base covered, and just the fact that they do play pretty like stun and initiation heavy, but that doesn't necessarily mean they can beat out Liquid in the full 5-on-5.
So what's the main thing to take away from the series? We just from if you're SG, you know, you just witnessed Liquid dominate, like absolutely dominate. That second game, that was a snowball. What's the main thing to take away? Sure, apart from banning IO, I think that's lesson number 1.
I don't know. I actually think that in the second game it's more like outdraft.
Yeah.
I think Mineski's heroes and the way they ran the heroes as well. I didn't expect the Ench to be offlane. I was kind of expecting the Monkey to be offlane and support to deal with the Chen. But I don't know, everything was like they had some weird idea on how to play that game, and they thought it could work, but it failed. Yeah, so that game I would say is more of like draft, and it's quite hard for SG to say to look at that game and say that, oh, there's this certain way of Liquid is gonna play, and how should we approach against them. But I think overall, like you guys mentioned, like the team fight, maybe they should draft a little more team fight, because I think the first game when they had the Jakiro, that game they didn't have much team fight. Yeah, so maybe something more like the second game draft when they had the Disruptor, Pitlord, more team fight.
Yeah, I like the. I don't know. What do you think about Pitlord? I feel
Good
like
hero.
you're down with the Pitlord.
Really?
Well, he's a good hero.
But I believe, like, I'm not Knoxville, but I really believe his win rate is really not great.
So going into TI, I was trying to tell people, I was like, yo, I think Pitlord's actually kind of good, guys.
Good.
And yeah, I was like, guys, like, I think Pitlord could be picked. It's kind of good. And everyone shut me down. They were just like, no, the hero's not good. And we didn't really see it at TI, so I never got to say anything.
In the pro game, I would say what makes the biggest difference between a normal Pitlord player and a better Pitlord player is how they use the ultimate. Like in the second game, like Posa showed that's how you should use the ultimate.
Yeah.
That was actually, like, I was really happy to see
He made
that.
the game so fast that the enemy couldn't deal with it, and he saved his core a few times from the Doom and the DP ultimate. So that was a very good example of how you should use the ultimate.
It was a pretty ideal game, I would say, for Pitlord.
Yeah.
The laning phase is obviously bad because he was against Monkey King,
yeah,
but
whatever.
that's always going to be bad, right? But I feel like the idea of being able to like force Death Prophet to use ultimate and be able to use that ultimate safely, or Doom, and
basically good against push and heavy team fight.
Yeah.
The hero.
Yeah, I think what you said, like his ideas and execution were really solid. Like I remember they won, like they defended pretty well in some bottom team fight. Instantly, he pops it to go up to the top lane where there was already a lane decently pushed. I mean, that's an advantage that no hero can possibly give you. Is being able to successfully defend.
IO is temporary.
IO's kind of there, right?
But bring the whole team.
Yeah, you can go like most of the time you can't say like, oh, we defend and we're able to threaten base immediately.
At the same time.
Right? Like it's usually you run down, and that's why oftentimes playing aggressively and like playing in the enemy team's jungle and stuff is like so valuable, because even if you do lose a team fight, you're not at risk of your objectives. But you know, Pitlord is one of the few who can actually do that for you. Furion, obviously, as well as the Wisp, can do temporary measures and can put slight pressure, but Pitlord that he's full 100.
As your whole
you know?
team, yeah.
So
we're gonna see Pitlord, or are we gonna see Pitlord? Is he
Maybe.
situational? Because you mentioned all these situations where he's good at, but
I personally think that he can be actually a more general pick. Like he works in a lot of situations, and the main thing I see in the first two games where SG run it, they have an offlaner that has a lot of wave clear. The first game they have Puck, second game they have Pillar. This might be a hint of a system that they are drafting around. I'm not sure because I need to see more games. But from what I understand, the first series, their offlaner has a lot of wave clear push out.
yeah, and that way their forward position, who usually is like a hard initiator, is going to be able to
gank.
Yeah, is able to do so much more. It's really hard to play the forward position if you don't have cores that push out lanes for you, because you just feel like oftentimes you get in this rut where you don't see opportunities to go. Like maybe you do like go in a situation where you try and play aggressively, but you don't have as much information to work off. So it can go really bad. If you play too conservative, you just don't do it.
Everything is connected to each other, and their warding is also really good from the first series. So basically when you're pushing out and you're setting up ganks, you need like the push out guy is going to push it out, and the position 4 is going to put, or the position 5 is going to set down the deep wards, and he's going to camp for someone to come out and gank.
Yeah.
So when they have this kind of setup, the good wards and the good push out, it makes it really, really easy to gank the opposing team.
I feel like this is a topic that we've gone on for kind of the last year, maybe 2 years, is that it was like kind of in some ways, a small discovery, I guess, in Pro Dota, that like these are the sort of advantages that offer to you when you focus less on hitting neutrals, more pushing out waves. But what do you, like, how have we adapted from there, from the professional scene? Because I think you have more insight than
I would say that
most.
a lot of the newer players that I play with, the high MMR players, they're really efficient in their farming, which can be a bad thing to the team game, like because you want the lanes to be pushed out
Yeah.
a lot faster. And when he's trying to do the efficient farming pattern, he does like all the camps.
Yeah.
Like
Boom,
for
boom,
40
boom,
seconds, he clears the 3 camps and then he goes back to the lane. Instead of comparing to like an old veteran player, which understands that, oh, my team is planning a smoke right now. I need to get this lane pushed out regardless of what.
How many last hits
how
you're
many last
missing.
hits. I just want to push out the lane, you know. That's how important it is. Like in that series, it was so evident that they were playing so fast, they were pushing out the lane so quickly that there were a lot of opportunities for the position 4 to catch, gank, and set up kills.
And how do you then also deal with Theo's Earthshaker? Because you
Um,
had a great vision game, and then you got Theo Liquor.
Vision, and I think you need, like when you're sending people back, like Liposa, he's going to push out the lane. So you send some guy back to defend the lane, he's pushing out. But at the same time, you have your position 5, let's say a defensive support, you TP behind the second tower, the guy that's TPing in front. So you make sure when he goes to the lane and farm, your support is behind him, guarding the guy. So when they jump him, if they are there, you get
Yeah.
to save him and maybe counter kill, because you're at your tower. So that's how you play against it.
Yeah, we are. By the way, we're still waiting for Team Liquid. You just saw them walking back, I think, as they just finished the series, of course. So they get a little bit of a break to get some food, but they are soon also ready to play.
To jump on what you were saying, I think that's a really good point, because what I oftentimes notice is that more amateur teams, their idea is that like, oh, we have this one hero that's going to be able to defend. You know, maybe he even TPs to the tier 2, which is even worse, right? Is that we have this one hero TPs to defend, and then, oh, if they go on to him, we'll TP rotate, right? And it just doesn't work like that, because you just end up going in like basically single file. They finish off that one hero so quickly. So being able to have to be able to
backup
see far
support.
enough ahead,
Yeah.
right? That support TPs to the tier 3, he covers you, right? I think that's like the general, like these variances on like being able to outdo each other when we finally came to
unless
this
the
wave push
guy
meta.
who is TPing in front is like some guy who can't die. Some guy who is like...
Oh yeah. It's like,
then it doesn't matter, like some fat Timbersaw or someone that TPs in front that doesn't really care.
yeah, you have a Pit Lord or a Deuce or a Viper defense or something.
Yeah.
So, and what you guys have just told me, the most important things here are vision, as well as wave clear.
Wave clear, vision, and anticipation. You need to understand what the opponent is doing, what can they do with their heroes, and which lane is like dangerous. Like I think the main thing, one word, positioning. Like when you play Dota, you position heroes on the map. Like this guy has to take this lane, this guy has to take this lane, and sometimes things happen, and some guy goes to a different position and it causes another guy to die. So I think in Dota sometimes it's very important to maintain the position. Whoever is supposed to be at that place should always be there, unless really something happens. Otherwise, when you move away from your position, it affects the movement of the whole team.
Yeah.
So I think positioning is the key thing. Everyone needs to understand where they should be.
So a lot of it's dependent on draft, but then of course movement's still very important as well.
This is why Kuro, I had a conversation with him, and I think it was like early of last season, so maybe like after Frankfurt Major or something. And I was talking to him about like general concepts and like his idea for the game. And one of the complaints he had, it wasn't a complaint, I should preface this. He says like one of the problems is that we have this like 9K cancer. And what he meant by that was like the fact that he's got these players on his team that are all like super good,
Yeah.
and they all want to be able to have a good game.
Yeah.
They all want to be able to get their farm and stuff. And I think that's what took so long for Liquid to really get going. The previous year, before that one, was they were such a slow start, right? They didn't even get into that first major.
They didn't even get the
Frankfurt,
Boston major,
right?
yeah.
It was like
Oh, and not Frankfurt major either.
yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
it was
both.
like that was the thing. Like he like Kuro had this idea of like how the game's supposed to be played, and it took time for for the rest of the team to be able to like fully understand the concepts that Kuro was bringing. But once they finally did get there, right? Like all of a sudden, once you're able to see Matumba Man like start accepting his role as
It's
like,
okay,
I die and I give space to the rest of my team, right? I enable mind control, I enable miracle. Like somebody has to take that role. One of the cores has to, right? And once you were able to see those players, and it wasn't always Matumba Man, right? Sometimes it was mind control, sometimes it was even miracle. But once they were able to grasp that and really have a full understanding of like, I can trust my team in this regard. If I'm having a bad game, that's okay. I still need to do what's important, right? I still need to make the plays that I need to.
They learn to sacrifice for the greater good, and it's paid out literally. So, it's pretty good.
Big time.
Big
Big
time.
money.
Yeah.
Which
Not
apparently
that
none
they
of the
care.
players know. Yeah.
Because they just play Dota anyway. Hey, look at that.
Oh,
Jakiro,
first ban Jakiro. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, Jakiro has been quite an on and off hero recently. I've seen some teams like the hero, some teams don't pick the totally ignore the hero. But personally, I like the hero.
Yeah.
It has wave clear, wave clear, and a very far wave clear. His ultimate. There are certain lanes when you're playing a support, you can't push out that lane, but with Jakiro you can because of the range.
In fact, it's like one of the most unique things because sometimes you can stop pushes before they even get to your tower, right? And be able to like keep backdoor protection.
I actually like the bans that they're actually doing here against. It's specifically tailored against SG Esports. They had both really good Earthshaker games. Jakiro, they used one game, the other game wasn't banned, but they chose not to use it. But those two heroes were really key in their composition, the catch and the push out.
Yeah, we just mentioned the importance of wave clear, and yeah, Jakiro, great one for that. And yeah, Theo Licker on his Earthshaker. For the side of SG, I don't think it comes as too big of a surprise that we see Io and Veno banned. Maybe the Veno the only one out, not targeted GH, of course.
Yeah, but they have to be very careful with like so many of the heroes that Liquid can play.
Yeah.
The Necro, the Brew, like you always have to keep, like even the occasional Huskar, like your draft has to be able to deal with those kind of things. That's why it's really difficult to draft against Liquid. They go for the Nyx, which like very standard staple pick.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the obvious replacement to Earthshaker in a lot of ways.
The
that he
catch,
is that like that 4 position that can go for the catch, and his added advantage being that he gets a lot of information for you.
But they gave away the Night Stalker though, and I think Night Stalker is really good against Nyx. And okay, the first two heroes are actually both really good against Nyx. Chen, because you make your team group up, you push. That's what Nyx does not want, like, to fight against group ups, because Nyx doesn't really do anything. You kind of have to draft a good team fight with Nyx in a lot of situations to make up for the hero's weakness.
And Night Stalker really guards against split pushing, which is the naturally what you want to do against Chen, right? Because he forces so much grouping up. And I feel like Night Stalker is probably one of the best 4 positions outside of Earthshaker.
I mean, you could argue Chen can deal with split push later in the game when you have the ancient creeps and you push
What?
out one.
Oh yeah.
CM is good against it's
Chen,
because of the Chen.
Isn't Witch
You
Doctor
guys
better
are
though?
all so normal about that. Why do you pick it now?
I actually kind of like CM in certain, like if you must have a plan, like when you pick CM, you're basically trying to build like a tri-core wave clear lineup. That's why you want to abuse the aura. You don't just pick CM because there's a Chen. There's also about the heroes that are coming. So it's suggesting that they are going to go for like the push-out hero, like the Linas or like some Darkseer, like some.
Yeah, we're gonna have those spam mid hero and probably
whatever
a
the
spam off-lane
users,
hero.
whatever the users the mana well, like, or even is Puck still with that? Yeah, Puck's still in the pool.
Yeah.
Those kind of heroes are really good with CM. So this is what I'm getting right now with this pick here.
I think there's a chance maybe that they still pick up an initiating offlaner. I know we've seen a lot of wave clear out of them, but one of the things was that like whenever Earthshaker was taken out of the pool in South America, it was like Batrider was a very common pickup. He uses the Crystal Maiden aura. I think that's a possibility.
He's great for
but
vision as well.
He's still okay, but I hate playing Batrider against Night Stalker. To be
Yeah,
honest.
me too. It's awful, man. They have such a vision
can't
advantage.
see anything. They ban out the Clinks, which is pretty good against the Chen. But overall, right now we see two very different openings from the teams. But I would say that Liquid early game should be looking much better because of the NS and the Chen compared to the Nyx and CM, which needs more time.
So what are the spam heroes?
They ban out one. Mirana could be really good.
Yeah, Mirana.
Like Puck, Darkseer. I don't know if they run Abaddon, because Abaddon is like the NA thing. Oh, they go for like even more teamfight Tide. Tide. So against Tide,
Does this mean that if SG wants to try and avoid
I
team
think
fights, or do they have to build more team
Timber
fights?
can be good for SG here, but they need to pick it at the right time.
Go
So
for
they go
Necro
for the
first.
first spamming hero, Necrophos.
I really like Necrophos against Tidehunter. It's kind of like similar to the vein of Disruptor in that it's a hero that can lock down Tidehunter and finish him off before he gets off his
Yeah,
ultimate.
he's gonna just have to get like a hood or
Yeah.
even a pipe at some point. Then the Chen is gonna have the mech. Like Chen is pretty good against Necro because you can stop the Reaper kills from far away.
Yeah, yeah, we saw the power of is it the Pugna also being able to do that, right?
Is Pugna still in the pool? Oh,
No,
no,
it
it got banned up.
just now by
I
SG.
think what I kind of like about Tide here is if what you're saying is going to be the game plan for SG and like having these kind of self-sufficient spamming heroes, it leaves a lot of room to farm for your 3 cores on Liquid because the lanes are kind of always pushing out. And Tidehunter is one of those offlaners that I feel like I can never run in pubs, but I feel like it is viable in pro games because you really need that space to farm on that offlaner. I feel like it's you can't just be a blink ravage.
Tide, pretty hard to win in pubs. I can.
You could attest.
Yeah,
you
I
could
really
attest
tested
on
that.
that
I
winner.
know that.
Me too, dude. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
So they go for Lifestealer, which is one of the few better solid carries against Nyx. The innate BKB that you have, the spell immunity, and they have like a very group up pushing lineup right now for Liquid. The Tide, the Chen, Lifestealer.
Now, I've always seen Lifestealer picked as like the safe lane against Nyx offline, right? Like, but as a 4 position, isn't it? As if Nyx is 4 position, isn't it a little bit better against Lifestealer because you don't have that laning feints nonsense where Lifestealer is so dominant.
And the Carapace will own you if you are trying
yeah,
to
exactly. You try and do
bomb.
the Blink Ravage. If you have a Spike Carapace off, Lifestealer's instantly stunned. And you have a stun out of Invis, which is kind of problematic.
It goes both ways like that. But I think the other main important thing why the Lifestealer is good with the lineup is I think they're going to roam a lot with the NS and Chen. So your safe laner has to be somewhat self-sufficient, and Lifestealer is going to be able to fulfill that role really well.
Why? So in that case, I would ask why Lifestealer over the other self-sufficient heroes that are also good versus Necrophos. Monkey King, he's not good against Necrophos, but like Ursa, for example, like those are 2 heroes that are also very self-sufficient. What's special about Lifestealer?
I don't know. I feel Lifestealer is more solid personally. I like the
more reliable. You mean?
More reliable.
Yeah.
And also I pick Ursa if I want to have like a lineup that can maybe like use the Roche to snow. I think it's a lot of preference between the players, what they like to play.
Okay.
And personally, I feel like Lifestealer is more like stable. Like the Chinese would pick Lifestealer, the Chinese teams, because it's very solid.
Yeah.
Like back then when they pick it a lot.
I do like Lifestealer. Now it's a Lifestealer versus Monkey
This hero is like, I guess he kind of uses the aura now. If you go the max primal spring and you just push out lanes.
But will you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. Even as core of like carry or offlane, I think you don't really need to max your stun. You should max the jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tree dance, so you push out the waves.
It's a great farming tool. Like Monkey is able to jump from the tree and kill a creep wave and instantly jump back into the tree. So it makes him, he's not like full on Juggernaut Lifestealer where he's got an innate tool that prevents him from being ganked very easily, but it's kind of close to that level.
Isn't that the same thing that SG this morning basically abused against VG, where VG had the Monkey King, and they knew exactly when he was going to do exactly that, and they caught him every time.
That game they had Jakiro and they had Earthshaker. They had heroes that can actually just stun. They hear the sound.
I guess that's very difficult.
We don't have
to
the
do with
instant
Liquid.
stuns here on Liquid.
You got the silence from Night Stalker.
Yeah, but you can't stop him from like if he jumps down, he immediately jumps back. It's not fast enough.
Okay.
Because you also have to be in position.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
They ban out the Viper, so to protect the Lifestealer pick more. I guess you can still go Razor if you really want to own the Lifestealer.
I've seen a couple of Razors not feeling it right now. It just doesn't seem to be the same.
He does use the Plasma field. I mean the Plasma plus the CM aura well, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's the right hero for them. Because they don't really have much team fight now except for the Wukong's command. Like everything else is not really like, not comparable to the Tide. So I'm not sure what they want here to...
What's with the TA ban? Are they expecting one of the flashy heroes from Miracle Mid?
TA ban.
I really like very focused single target damage against
I mean,
Monkey King and
TA
Necrophos.
is good
but-
against like Lina, those kind of heroes, so maybe they want. Maybe they want.
Lina uses the aura from CM definitely
Yeah.
and clears waves fast. It will be an
uh,
Ember instead
Ember.
though. Fire
Ember's like a
nonetheless, though.
both-way matchup. But still, it's a hero that uses the main thing is like it uses the CM aura. They're gonna have this like tri-core setup. So I think, wait, so Monkey King Monkey King is off lane, Necro off lane. I guess it's Monkey King.
Can they aggro Trilane into? I think it's too dangerous against
Hard,
Chen,
it's very
right?
hard because of the
Yeah.
Chen. I think
And you got a tied 1v1.
I
at
would
that
actually
point.
put Monkey King off lane and Necro
Yeah.
safe lane, Ember mid, and yeah, and just let the Monkey King might not have a very good start initially, but he's gonna be able to catch up with the CM aura and the Primal Spring. So I think that might be for me. I'll run it that way, but I'm not sure if SG is gonna do it that way.
You just get a
Invoker.
yeah.
Invoker against Nyx though. Nyx is I mean Miracle doesn't care, I guess.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
it's like the best counter you can get from
It's
a
very
far
annoying,
position.
though,
But
to-
the rest of the cores are not like the best at being able to deal with Invoker, right? Because he offers so many like harsh disables
Yeah.
for these heroes.
So what are we thinking here? Is this draft enough to beat Liquid? As Liquid is the favorite going into this?
I believe the SA Dota, man.
Yeah?
I believe.
All right.
I'm gonna stick with Liquid just because I think it's really difficult to play into Invoker, like Tidehunter. They have this like very clear team fight advantage. You mess up a couple times, it's gonna cost you a lot. I don't know if SG is good enough to be able to play that kind of flawless Dota.
Sometimes you
against-
gotta just believe, you know.
you just gotta believe,
Yeah,
Winner.
we can do it.
All right. Well, let's see.
I'm not giving them my energy. I'm sorry, Winner. It's all on you.
Let's see if Winter's belief is enough to pull them through. It is over to Odie, Pixel, and Fogged for the first game of this Winners Bracket Finals of Group A.
Thank you very much, and absolutely. Liquid versus SG. We've just seen the two drafts come through, and there's a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to be excited about as well. We've got this incredible mid matchup, Miracle versus Adriano. It's going to be Miracle Invoker versus Adriano Ember Spirit. That's going to be hype. We've got some sort of out of the meta picks as such. The Tidehunter coming through for Liquid, we're looking that up. Something that they don't really play that frequently.
3 times. They played it 2 times at TI, and the time before that was 8 months ago. So not a whole lot of play on it, but like they were saying on the panel, there's a lot of team fight coming out for them. But I'm kind of liking what SA's got, what the Brazilians got going for them right now.
Yeah, they look pretty hot earlier today.
The last pick, Ember Spirit, there's not really a whole lot of disable on the side of Liquid. They have the Crippling Fear and then the Invoker. Other than that, they have nothing else to stop TPs unless the Chen has some creeps going on. That being said, though, I do like what they've got going. I believe in them a bit, but Liquid definitely is the stronger team, and I think Miracle can go out of control on this Invoker as well because he's gonna get help. That's the big thing. It's Invoker versus an Ember. Invoker kind of wins that because Ember is so low armor, but Ember can force the lanes out a lot. But throw a Chen in the mix, Invoker's gonna be fine as long as there's some rotations.
I mean, as the panel sort of touched on, there is a hero that's sort of a bit of an issue for the Invoker. The Nyx Assassin.
Nyx as well,
It can kind of screw an Invoker's game up. I mean, if there's any sort of player that's going to be used to playing in these sort of situations and having, 5 heroes counter-picked against them, it's going to be Miracle and his Invoker. But how much of an issue do you think this game it could be for him, having this Nyx against?
It could be a big problem. Like if they actually struggle in this laning phase, I feel like they can come out to a very big deficit. And I think that SG might go aggressive, it looked like here, when I saw their... when I'd seen initially, but no, now it looks like, because it's going to be Necro off lane, so I thought they were going to give him some help. Because Monkey King, it's played by Costa, and Costa is their safe laner in comparison to Laposa playing the off laner.
Okay.
So
a bit of a switch up in that sense. Straight up, the other core getting out with the smoke, getting a nice ward down.
yeah,
Not to block, but just to watch those sort of movements from Liquid. And also, yeah, just to get an idea of the lane, so maybe SG can look to find these favorable matchups.
and the nice thing is too is like if they help the Monkey King early, that's where it's kind of that Ursa matchup for the Tidehunter. You can really just suffer so much versus Jingu. He gets a couple stacks on you, you just get bursted down. But I think this is where we're going to see Kuroki play a big factor in this game. Playing around the mid lane, playing around MC's lane like he did that last game. That one single gank in the top lane can be so crucial because then Tidehunter out-levels the Monkey King, out-levels the CM. He doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter so much because he gets more of that damage reduction versus that physical. I'm hyped though. I'm pretty excited to watch.
Yeah, there's gonna be so much aggression in these lanes.
Yeah.
As you say, both teams are out to just absolutely just destroy each other's safe laner in this laning stage.
I'm excited for the SG Monkey King. I've seen a bunch of this hero played in the safe lane. I've seen a lot of the Chinese teams play it. They go that Battle Fury build. As the one position, I do like the Battle Fury build, so you can push out the lanes, but there's also, there's other builds where you see the Echo Saber, the Diffusal.
Yeah.
Some other people I've seen the Mask of Madness, but
Look
bottom.
at this, though, straight up. That's going to be your first blood, ladies and gentlemen, and going the
boy.
way of Matumba as well. Catching out Leposa as they tried to get into position to contest that bottom rune, but Matumba in with the money to begin things off. 440 gold in the bank off that bounty and first blood. Feels pretty good for this safe lane lifestealer.
Yeah, and it's already, we were talking about the Lifestealer versus the Nyx kind of matchup, and they're already putting the Nyx and the Necro bottom to at least contest versus that Lifestealer, but now he's got boots. He's a pretty happy man.
Yeah, it already becomes much harder for them to really scare the Lifestealer. Sure, they can keep Matumba away from a few CS, but the kill potential is going to be a lot lower now that he can sort of dart back and forward.
I'm going to be keeping my eyes mostly on this mid lane, just because I think these two guys,
big names.
they're the big names. Adriano for SG, of course, their biggest one until, I've seen those Earthshaker plays are definitely the ones that are standing out a bit more right now, but still, this Invoker versus Ember matchup can go, it can go either ways, but I think Miracle is super comfortable on it. Once he gets like Alacrity or Fort Spirit up, Ember Spirit suffers that he has super low armor, so he can get punished and pushed out of lane quite heavily.
And you can see already with the movements from SG, they've got the Nyx Assassin heading over to sort of keep tabs on Kuro and his Chen, see what's going up. Theo Licor in the neighborhood, looking to sap some XP up as well.
Juicy. The Dream versus a Chen, and the Nightmare for a Chen, getting, you're doing double tornado, and you're getting all your shared experience. It's painful. Mind Control, though, top, we see him. He is having a field day up here. CM, not really one of the best heroes anymore, period. You don't really do any damage, and you only have one Frostbite in lane. You have the Clarity. It's very tough to actually sustain yourselves there versus that Tide, who brought so much regen. But now they're going to be able to get some stacks up with that Orb of Venom finished on the Monkey King, and he can put a decent amount of pressure onto the Tide Hunter with that.
Yeah, you can see Theo Licor as well down in the jungle of Liquid. They wanted to contest that bounty rune, but GH, he knows. He heads over, makes sure that that bounty rune is going to be safe for Kuro to get to help him on his way to level 2 and get him into that position where he's going to be able to start making those movements and rotations and having an impact on the lanes. Mid lane CS so far looking pretty even. 10 for 4 Miracle, 10, 11-1 Adriano. So and dead even in fact, but this Invis rune could change things up. See how Miracle can play his way out of this one. Looking to set up, getting close, but Miracle, you already suspect something's kind of odd with this aggressive movement from Adriano. Miracle backs up, not looking to reveal straight away. This is smart from Bardito. So Miracle, you can see that he's sort of expecting that play, but it doesn't come out straight away.
CM is level 2 as well. Might want to build. No, they just go for some harassment. The minus armor started building up on the Ember Spirit. It's too much. And top, this is what we were talking about. You can leave that Monkey King alone if he has a good start.
Jingu Mastery doing a lot. He won't die for the kill. The Orb of Venom helping to bring that Tide under very low mind control down to about 7 HP in that. He'll back away.
Had to use the salve to survive there, so a lot of the sustain just got pushed out for MC.
Bottom lane, GH trying to push Theo Licor away from having a look in on this side pull. Both level 2 at the moment on these two. Very aggressive supports early on. And bottom lane, Matumba, CS-wise, 13 for 4. See up top, a lot of denies being going on as it's a lot harder to get into position. Bottom lane, looking for the stun. Nice control there from Theo Licor, just to make sure that GH and Matumba can't do any more damage to either himself or Leposa.
So now the dream happens for SG. The Monkey King is absolutely alone top. You get the 2-0-2 build, and Tide Hunter cannot contest anymore versus that double Jingu Mastery with the Orb of Venom. CM has the liberty to jungle, get those levels up for that Frost, for the Arcane Aura for his buddies. Fairly even across the board, though.
Yeah, Kuro yet to make those movements. I mean, at the moment, GH going rather deep here. Theo Licor is on the case. He's going to look to try and steal that rune, and he will get it. The stun falling a little bit short from Theo, and now GH, he just turns with the Void.
And Kuro's coming to
starts to smack into this Nyx.
I think the Nyx might actually just not get killed here.
Kuro doesn't even bother coming up. He kind of walked in the direction and said, all right, you've got this one on your own, GH, and he certainly has, picking up the solo kill and stealing the bounty rune. That is certainly a way to sort of shift the difference between these two. Mid lane, here's the rotation. Kuro coming in with the golem. He's looking for the control. Oh, Sleight of Fist comes out. There's the cold snap. Nice little dodge to avoid the centaur, but it may not matter, and indeed it doesn't. GH is coming as well. It's a party in the mid lane for Liquid as they clean up too.
Oh, they're not done either.
He's in trouble as well. Look at this Kuro troll from Kuro on his Chen. The creep's going crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Miracle gets the double kill, and that movement, that build-up as well from Kuro and GH. The whole 4 minutes, Kuro focusing on that, the leveling and the farming and getting the right creeps from the jungle, and then you have that much of an impact in the mid lane.
He even tried to skill Slight, try to dodge the spells out there, but
There was so
patience.
many. Yeah, there was just so much stuff being thrown at him as well. I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, we certainly talked about the lack of stuns and lockdown for the draft that the Liquid have. But of course, Kuro quick to remind us that once he has the right creeps under his control, they have all the lockdown in the world.
I like how Miracle went for the 2-1-3 build as well, so he made sure he has the alacrity, he has that extra right click, that damage that he needed.
Oh, man,
and here we go again. They're going for it.
Return of the Zoo Part 2. He's in trouble. He will dodge out the Centaur stun, but it doesn't matter. They've got so much damage with GH there throwing down multiple voids. It's another kill in that mid lane.
This first nighttime is an issue. As soon as this is one of the heroes that, like, not only the Night Stalker, but these strength support heroes versus Nyx Assassin, you can run them down and render them pretty useless inside that laning phase. And this first night, GH is really doing that. Now level 4 already, continuing to make the moves.
Luxembourg salved up as well.
Necro's
lane, though,
really
yeah.
deep. It's got a TP though, so they've got to save the Void. And GH is saving the Void.
He's a smart man. This guy is a TI winner.
Yep.
He knows what he's doing. Holds those spells, perfectly played. And again, 7-0.
Only one lane now, really going perfect for them. It's that top lane, of course, for the Monkey. But Ember Spirit's definitely suffering. CM can't really help too much versus Night Stalker. Look at this.
He's in
GH
trouble.
is just going in.
He really is. There are going to be TP rotations. The posts are coming through. They'll turn towards GH. The silence is going to wear off. Bardino gets the frostbite, but no, he's down. GH denying us of the 7-1 Brazil dream as it stands 8-0, Liquid leading.
He is going. Do they have the mana burn skill? They do. Is it going to be enough damage? They're trying to get as many right clicks as possible. Monkey King TPing in. Another TP from CM.
Oh, the spooky skull.
Oh my goodness.
Look at
GH
this
is
speed.
living. He just
my
runs. Mind control with the well played
Yeah.
as well. So much space coming out from GH.
Look
The
at that.
pressure is unbelievable.
How long can he keep this skull alive? Oh, no.
Oh, mind control top though. Trading some hits.
Yep, out goes the Boundless Strike and Tide. Falling low. We'll be fine. GH has got a new pace. Going to give. Oh, finally. He consumes the skull between his buttocks. 4K gold lead at the moment. 7 minutes in.
Yeah, Miracle is already a problem getting this much out of the laning phase. Ideally, versus the Invokers, you want the ganks to come onto him, but them roaming onto Miracle, it's a very Liquid-esque move. That's what they like to do, give Miracle that great start, and he's an Invoker starting out like this.
Oh man, you're giving Miracle
goodness.
Invoker a
Oh,
good
God.
start. That is the fear of many a professional Dota player.
Oh yeah. Kuro as well this game already having an immense impact. Level 5, Arcane Boots finished up. Everybody farming on the side of Liquid now.
Look at this aggression of Miracle. Constantly forcing Adrian up to the high ground. Matumba goes for a quick bite. Gets himself back up to full health. GH on the watch for CM. Holding on for the Dukes there. They're hunting.
He's got to get caught here.
He's in so much trouble. Bardino's been found out. He does have the backup of Theolacore, but the Sunstrike comes through. It's enough. On point from Miracle. Can they find the return kill? Adriano moving forward, instantly silenced though by GH to try and hold back the potential of the Searing Chains. Tornado as well. Miracle starting to toy around and then foul with the Void. Oh, he's falling low, but Costabile comes in with the rotation. Boundless Strike down. They do lose Adriano, but they get the kill on Miracle. They're looking for more. GH still may be a little too speedy. He's going to have phase boost back up in a second. They'll get the Jingu Mastery built up. Can they chase this? GH looking for the Dukes. Tower starting to bite into Theolacore, but he'll find the stun. Set up for Costabile to pick up the double kill. Big rotation there from the Monkey King as they get 2 for him, and they do put an end to Miracle's reign on that Invoker.
Yeah, very nice rotation. You see how Miracle prioritizes on the Tornado early on to remove that Flame Guard so the damage doesn't build up. It's a really important thing to do as Invokers when you're playing versus that matchup of Ember Spirit. But yeah, again, this is daytime and Night Stalker comes in and gets a kill, but the mega kill streak goes towards the Monkey King as you were mentioning.
That's perfect for SG. They couldn't have that go any other way. Top lane, Ravage into Sunstrike on Adriano, meaning there's no chance for him to remnant away. Oh my goodness, Liquid seeing an opportunity and not holding back. And look at Kuro here. He has Manta-styled his creeps. He's got triple purple blasts at the ready.
Yep, sends one home to full heal, and those blasts would have connected top as well if it wasn't a finish off from the Sunstrike. But getting involved with Sunstrikes when you have no stuns on your team this early on, absolutely the dream. Already a 5K lead, sub 10 minutes for Liquid. These supports on the side of Liquid are just making so much space. Well, in comparison, this is why we've seen the Crystal Maiden kind of fall off a lot. You see she's 0-3 already, not really having too much of an impact on the game, just kind of giving that aura. Other than that, she's just quite weak.
Down bottom, SG. Just trying to use the strength that they have, grouping up with this Monkey King, who is still in a great place. Costa He's 5K net worth, second highest on the board, and with a tower taken down, he's going to be pretty much on par with that of Miracle. And does have a decently considering the kills in comparison to Matumba Man's Lifestealer.
The one good thing too is, they're playing around their strengths. They know the Necro and the Monkey King are the strongest, so they're going to that lane. And we see Adriano, the Crystal Maiden was at least stacking for him. So he did have a triple stack at one of the medium camps, and it was pretty fortunate camps for him. And you see him already level 8, starting to catch back up already.
On top, SG wanting to set up potentially Costa with the eyes on Zimmerman. They have put the TP in as well from Leposa. Has got, of course, that Reaper Scythe at the ready. Hard kills to go for, obviously, both. Zimmerman having that rage, mind control, being as tanky as he is on the Tidehunter.
Kuro has 4 Satyr creeps.
Yeah,
one of them got sent home, but he has 3 now up top.
He's got 4.
Yeah, he has 4. He's 1 at base. They have Darkness up as well, and he's going to pop it probably in the next 10 seconds or so, just so he can have that nighttime pop in right afterwards.
Oh,
so
here
there
we
we
go.
go.
Are you ready for the purple? I'm ready for the purples. Where's he going to go?
The blasts are going to
Bardino.
come out soon.
They absolutely are. They won't even need it for this here, and they'll throw it out anyway. Kuro bringing down Bardino.
They don't have reveal though. The Nyx Assassin is 6. They throw the Monkey King ult.
They are going to look for mind control. He is the biggest of the tanks. Did they get the kill? They can't. The heal's too much. Mind control is going to be saved. Turns around with the gush, gets himself out of the Wukong's command. He's going to be sent home as well. Can they finish him off in time? Well, with the remnants, they will. They do bring Adriano in just in time. Jumps forward with the remnants. Will be able to clean some of these creeps up as well. As SG do manage to come out on top of that altercation. Good reactions there from them.
I like that they brought all 5 there. That's very important. They know that the Ravage is going to be up very soon. They saw Darkness popped. It was, it was the opportune moment for them to bring everybody. But that Chen heal by Kuro, that 250 heal, just enough to put mind control high enough not to get bursted.
Eyeing up for potential more here. Costa Bill looking towards Matumba.
This is what's going to happen though for a bit of time, at least for Liquid. They have to play that kind of 4v5 until Invoker feels like he can get involved where you want that Aghanims. He's actually looking to try to set up for the Nyx Assassin bottom on the Invoker, but this is a very tough kill. He's trying to do the outplay with the full Deafening Blast combo.
Oh, and again, look at this usage of Ravages from Mind Control, just straight up setting up for the kill. The Sunstrike won't connect, but it doesn't matter. GH and Mind Control have enough damage to break down Adriano, and now they're closing in for more. Boundless Strike comes out from Costa Bill, trying to hold them back, but it doesn't matter. They lose Leposa on the Necro. They will manage to get the return kill onto GH, but Matumba Man is in and out of the creeps. He's got the stick charges, will start to back up. So SG do at least find 1 kill, but again, they're losing 2 cores off the back of that trade. And we said, we haven't seen a lot of the Tidehunter from Liquid, but I love how Mind Control is playing it. No hesitation, using this Ravage as a setup for the Sunstrike. Even when it misses, it's getting the kill done every time, just that no holding back from Mind Control.
There's a reason why he is so renowned now. This guy knows exactly how to play his matchups, how to play his heroes. Barely, didn't even die, right, in the top lane at all? Yeah, didn't even die top versus that Monkey King lane, which we've seen time and time again people struggle versus. And now, they're making all the space in the world. Miracle, 900 gold away from the Aghanims, and that's when he can get involved. And it's looking pretty damn scary. 15-4 already. Pretty big detriments. 6K gold lead and a 5K experience lead for Liquid at this moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely, as you say, just an incredibly quick timing on this Aghanims forecast for Miracle.
Just like the panel said too, Tidehunter can suffer a bit versus the Necro, but the way to counter that is you go for the Hood really early. You go into that pipe build so you can't get bursted through it, and that's exactly what he's doing. Has the Hood finished up already. Theo giving a lot of information now, watching Mind Control, ping him out. Looks like they kind of want to go for something here, but there's many more in the area. Matu's there, so is GH.
Scary, yeah. I mean, if anything, this is just giving the information for Leposa to try and get the heck out of there, but I don't know if he can. GH and Matumba closing in upon him. He's got the Ghost Shroud, but they block him in, allowing the Sunstrike to connect, and Leposa is gone. Necro down again, 16-4.
All right, GH is out of control now too. Medallion already finished up. Top 4 net worth, Night Stalker. He is ahead of he's ahead of both of the Ember and the Necro from the opposing team. And we look at the wards coming out from Liquid already. They're trying to keep that advantage going. They want to be able to see whenever the rotations are coming out so that they can always have the outnumber. And that's what's going on every single time now in bottom lane.
Miracle. Trying to play around call up Costa Bill. Will throw down the boundless strike. Has Bud, but even the two of them, they do not want to mess with that Invoker. They'll give him a tickle and back off.
Yeah, he's too tanky already with that 1300 HP.
And up top, Liquid. Looking for the tier 2. SG, they do want to respond though, bringing the full 5-man up here. They want to try and take some sort of a fight by the looks of it, but look at this aggression from Liquid. Just sending Mind Control forward on the front lines. Adriana coming in with the side. Gets the chains. As you say, at this stage, SG heavily, almost fully reliant on the magic damage. There's no way that they can bring down Mind Control on the Tide.
Yeah, Hood and Hand of God, it's too much sustain at the moment for them to deal with. And they have a bit of a greedy build coming out. The Monkey King wants the Battle Fury. Still about 400 gold away, so his damage isn't really there. He's not online. And the other heroes on the team as well. Everybody's kind of lacking those items. And Ember Spirit, super behind. Not even bots finished up. Not going for that Veil build or anything like that.
He's just straight in on the back lines. Hunts down the Necro, finds the silence. But Tumberman closes himself in with the Centaur. They get the Ghost Shroud out in time on the poster, but he is surrounded. They're looking for the Wukong's command, but no, Costa Bill holds off. He says, we cannot take this fight. They just have to accept that the Necro is gone. They'll have to let this tier 2 drop. Miracle hunting with the Tornado. Through the trees, won't quite find him again. GH as well, sweeping the tree line, looking for that Monkey King, who will get it back safely to base. They'll have this Necro up, fortunately for them, with the low levels.
They're not
just
done
10 seconds.
At all. They have everything ready to be expended. They have Mind Control, they have Ravage, they have Chen Hand of God. If they're looking to keep that pressure going.
Yeah, no holding back from Liquid here, and understandably so. We're only 16 minutes in. They have this 8k gold lead, and the heroes to absolutely capitalize on that as well. What can SG do? They'll jump forward with the Primal Spring, but immediately the Rage comes out. Ravage as well. The Monkey King's down. And this game looking like it may just be over. Is there anything they could do? They find the ult, but it's not enough initially. They do get the kill with the Remnants. There's been a buyback from Costa Bill. They've got to look for an intense hold here. They get the chains onto Miracle. Sun strikes down on Adriana, but he moves out the way. Bardo going for the ult, bringing Miracle and Mind Control down low. Mind Control will drop. They've lost 2 on Liquid. They do find the route onto the Night Stalker, and SG showing us at a point where many would have said maybe it's all over. They show that it certainly isn't. They can still offer a fight. Punishing Liquid there. Can they catch Kuro? That's the question. He's smoked up. They did hunt for him in the tree line, but it looks like Kuro will be able to get himself safely back to base.
It's 17 minutes in, though, and that's a forced buyback from the Monkey King. The tier 3 did still go down, and it was pretty much like the Rage wore off, and they just full jumped Matu with triple Remnant. Just enough damage to be able to bring him down. And they're looking to keep that aggression going. It is daytime for another 2 minutes or so. They have to take advantage of any of these opportunities at the moment from this detriment. Any kill is super big for them right now.
Mind Control's deep. He is tanky, but he's all alone up on that top lane.
It's 4 heroes.
They are surrounding him. He's a big kill as well. Mind Control, has got any chance of getting out of this one?
He should be dead here.
I believe he is. Mind Control, he'll make them work for it, but he's ticking down. The Heartstop aura certainly working through him. And that is going to be another for SG off the back of that.
Did you see what Kuroki just picked up? Oh, you saw it, didn't you?
I did not see it.
Oh, it's a Dagon. It's a Dagon Chen we've got.
All right, Kuro.
He's in.
He's ready to zap some fools.
One of the big ways to hurt Monkey King is you have no magic immunity, no magic resistances or anything. You want to be able to burst him with magic, and same thing with the Necro. Necro pops Ghost Shard, you've got Dagon now.
Let's see who gets zappy. He's going to be going on here. Sunstrike laid down. Oh, the poster gets forced forward, gets the scythe. That's what he has to say about that Dagon. Costa Bill being worked upon by Matumbu, who's now got the Desolator. Can he get himself out of this? He's running away on the Monkey King. Does have the heal flying through. Should be fine, but I tell you who isn't fine. GH taken down. Double kill for Laposa, and now Matumba Man is trying to fight back. But there's 4 heroes here. The Ghost Shroud keeps Laposa safe, and Matumba, he can't find it on his own. Now the TP comes in. They've lost the tower. Mind Control on the front lines. Chains holding back Matumba.
Here comes
the
Miracle.
Tornado. Looks like SG may just leave Laposa dry. He's trying to get himself out with the 4-star, but the open wounds come in. They'll be able to bring down the Necro. Everyone else on SG getting themselves away, and believe it or not, they are slowly but surely reducing that lead that Liquid have in terms of net worth with these plays.
Yeah.
Quite, you know, the absolutely admirable hold from SG, considering the situation that Liquid managed to force them into.
I mean, they have to take advantage of any of those type of daytime moments, and they did very well with that one there. Just the Force Staff coming in from the post, being able to pierce the backlines. I think they got the last hit on the tower too. Yeah, they had got the top tower as well during that, but now Liquid goes into that Roche. Nyx almost has the Blink Dagger, so they will have that better form of initiation. Recently, and then at least in the last series that SG was playing, they had those clear-cut initiators with that Earthshaker. Now, at least with the Blink coming out soon, it will help a lot. And Ember Spirit finishing up a Yule Scepter, so a way to actually remove that silence that's been so punishing toward him.
Yeah.
And Battle Fury is finished up on the Monkey King, so they are starting to acquire a few things, but Liquid looking very strong here anyway. With that Deso, with that Aghanims finished up on the Invoker, they're looking to put more pressure on during this nighttime.
Yeah, the look for the safe objectives, Liquid after Roche. Taking down the shrines.
GH wanted to go for some kind of play here, but multiple more heroes show up, unable to find the opportunity. But now, since we said that tier 3 was down, Liquid, no hesitation. They're going for shrines.
Take it easy. Get the safe ones. Mid lane, TP's coming through Matumba. On the front lines of all of this. And Liquid once again grouping up. Got good creeps to do it as well. Ready to try and break the high ground. Adriano in cold snap. Can SG hold this? They've got the full team back for the defense. Diolicore jumping forward, doesn't find the stun opportunity. Tornado and EMP are going to be off the mark. They use the EMP into the Spike Carapace to hold Miracle in place, bringing him down to half health. Chains and the root.
Rangerex has fallen.
And Liquid, they do have Ravage available. Still a very scary fight for SG. There's a jump in. Stun only onto Mind Control. Rage comes out from Matumba.
This is the way they need to take this fight. Just throw spells from a distance constantly with the chains, with the Boundless Strike. And then the Nyx stun. They can actually do a decent amount of damage. There's no clear initiator on the side of Liquid. They just need SG to overcommit in order for MC to get that big Ravage off.
And SG being very careful that they don't give that opportunity to Mind Control.
Liquid's seeming to start to notice that they can't really go for this top, but the chain stun's coming out.
I mean, look at that, and then with the triple Remnants, he's going to bring the blow. He dodges out of the Ravage as well, but the other two are left to within it. Theolicore's down. 4-star from the Necro gets him up to the high ground. Sunstrike is going to be dodged as well. The Percy gets out. Freddy goes back in with a Reaper Cypher's not quite enough, though. Kuro will survive. Only Theolicore going down at the moment. Adriano walking back into the midst of them all. Miracle heading forward, drops down the path. They have got the ult here from Bardo. It's actually going to be cancelled here, and in fact, CM will pay with her life. Leposa trying to get himself away from Matumba. Deathing Blast onto Adriano, but Costa Beal comes in from the back. Wukong's command down. Miracle falling low. They will be able to take the Aegis out of his hands. Adriano gets himself out of range of the Lifestealer, keeping himself alive on the Ember Spirit. Tornado going to be juked out by Costa Beal. The melee rack's still alive. Matumba turning back towards Leposa. He doesn't have the Ghost Trap back up. That is the Necro down. Sunstrike coming through. Boundless Strike thrown down onto Matumba, but there's the silence. Adriano in trouble. He's been surrounded, has been taken down, doesn't have buyback on the Ember Spirit available. So Liquid will clean up, get Matumba the double kill, take the top set of racks.
The damage from the Medallion plus the Desolator, that Necro gets put at -7 armor, gets chunked down 350 to 400 damage per hit from the Lifestealer. Just easily eaten alive. Same thing with Ember. Both these heroes, that's what they suffer from, the Necro and the Ember Spirit. Sure, you have some magic immunity coming from the Ember Spirit, and you have, of course, Ghost Shroud for Necro, but if you get hit by that Medallion, that Deso, you're at negative portion. You're taking such an amplified amount of damage.
The question is, can Theolicore do something big here? They have the Monkey King in the neighborhood. Matumba Man going for the purchase at the secret shop. Can they try for this?
Doesn't have Boundless Strike up yet. They need the chain stun into a Necro ulti.
It's going to be hard. I mean, Matumba, he does have GH. Oh, GH! Oh, he finds him in the tree line and cuts down the tree straight away with a Sunstrike. That is a dead Monkey King. He is gone. They're trying to move in for more. SG is sending everyone in to try and hold this. They do get the GH kill, but losing the Monkey King just like that, and maybe Leposa as well. They'll try and hold back with the Yules. Ghost Shroud. Leposa forcing himself down to the low ground. But
you see that damage
so much
per hit?
trouble. Yeah, Miracle just punching into Leposa once this armor reduction comes through onto him from the Deso, as you said. And this man, I don't think he's getting away. Sunstrike not going to be on point, but the control from the Deafening Blast will be. SG losing 3 once again.
The vision coming out from that flight from Night Stalker, able to find the Monkey King, isolate him. Yeah, 13,000 gold lead now. 10,000 experience lead for Liquid. And they're not giving SG any space. So we saw the Monkey King go for the Battle Fury build, as we mentioned a couple times. That build, you have to be able to force, you have to be able to push lanes out, you have to be able to get online. Your next item is the big damage one, and then your third item is that BKB, which lets you survive the fights. But they're not allowing this to happen. Even when it's daytime, even when Ravage is on cooldown, they were continuing to try to run at them. Now Ravage is up, Darkness is up as well. They're ready to take the last few outer towers and solidify their lead.
SG outside of the base, eyeing up their tier 2, maybe assessing the situation. Theolacor trying to get the info, seeing if there's any potential of them being able to look for a fight around this position. But it's so hard with the deficit that they are at. Can they really attempt to tackle Liquid head on, as, you know, let alone outside the base?
It's now the
Oh,
Tide
and the
has
scan.
Blink Dagger. I don't know.
They're scanning out. Mind Control comes through with the dust. He knows that they're in the neighborhood. Quickly, though, SG blink away. As soon as that dust is out into the next assassin, they know that they cannot stay there. The vision game too strong for Liquid with the Night Stalker. Oh, he's been left behind. Bardino just picked apart by Miracle as he doesn't get himself back up to the high ground quick enough. GH, he knows where to go straight away. Costabil jumps down. Gets himself away from the big bad Night Stalker.
Mind Control patiently awaiting for that Blink Ravage. The Infest comes out. He's ready to go in. After this tower dies, Catapult, of course, with Alacrity. Just killing that tower.
Oh, and there it is. They're just going for Adriano. They want a quick kill, and they get it. That's an Ember down for 50 seconds. Wukong's command laid out, but he's pushed out by the Deafening Blast. The ult 10s, he's been disarmed. Kuro still with his controls. The Golems throwing the rocks out at the Monkey King. Gush slowing him down. They can't keep this Monkey King alive. He's down, and Lepost is being surrounded. Matumba still has the rage at the ready. Starts to rip into Lepost, who forces away. Theolacor's going to be the new target. Double kill for Matumba. They can't even get the Reaper Scythe out because the silence is there in time. SG were 4 out, make that 5. Liquid finding the team wipe. GG is called, and Liquid here in this game 1. At no point at all was this team behind. They were winning from minute 1.
Very few mistakes coming out for them. GH went absolute beast mode this game. I think I looked at the kill score. It was 16 kills. He was 7, 2, and 7, making moves everywhere on the map. Even during daytime, he was finding opportunities to get those kills, those ganks on mid lane. We've seen this Liquid before. We've seen what they like to do. Helping Miracle, exactly what they did again. Unbelievable performance from them again.
Absolutely. There was, I mean, we sort of felt it, didn't we? I think everyone who was watching felt it as well from the start when you see Miracle being given this space on the Invoker thanks to his team's plays. You know, that 5-minute rotation coming from Kuro and GH in the middle lane, resulting in 3 heroes dying. It was always going to be incredibly hard for a newer team like SG's current lineup to come back at a TI winning team and, you know, stop that momentum that Liquid had built up at that stage of the game.
They also had this, you know, they had this tri-core that they built. The Ember Spirit, the Monkey King, the Necro. These 3 heroes do need some farm to take up. They needed one of their lanes to be able to get them back into the game, but all 3 lanes pretty much suffered. The Monkey King was farming, had some decent rotations, but at one point he could not fight into this Invoker. He got such an early Aghanims, the Night Stalker as well, just always there, and Kuro as well. Like, these 2 supports just really dominated the game, in my opinion, for Liquid this time.
So many scary heroes that you've got to think about during the draft if you're going against Liquid. And, well, you know, I don't think you could really argue with what was banned out by SG in Game 1. But Game 2, maybe they've got to sort of switch around their focus, prioritize some of the heroes we saw in Game 1 as they absolutely picked them apart, really. There was nothing else to really say that this was just a showing that Liquid are just, they have the credentials, they have the history, they have the achievements. SG showed us a great showing earlier. They've got to sort of bring back some of that magic from the Vici Gaming series, as it just wasn't here in Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think the CM really struggled in this game, and GH took advantage of these 2 weaker supports.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see what the panel has to say as we'll be able to head back to you guys over in the studio. And Game 1, Liquid looking pretty hot.
Indeed, they do. Indeed, they do. They basically continue their dominating streak right here at the Starladder Invitational. Capitalist, Winter, time to
They're
break
only
down
dominating?
again. They're only dominating.
Shouldn't they be beyond godlike by now? Or
We're only
is that
counting this
after a
tournament.
TI2?
This is a new game.
This is a second TI game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. But if they continue doing that, maybe on Sunday they can.
Okay.
Then
All right,
we'll
I'm
talk
with
about
that.
that.
I'm with that. We're building up.
Building up. All right, Winter, what did you think of that game?
Well, Necro off lane, no farm, buy 4 stuff.
Dude, it was so greedy. They were so greedy. I mean, you were said Monkey King offlane.
Yeah,
right?
I would have preferred Monkey King off lane. I would have
Yeah.
chosen to give the Necro a safer lane, a better start,
Right.
and Monkey King to catch up later because they can't really protect everyone against the Chen. Someone has to
Yeah.
be, poor.
Yeah, so like
Someone
remember
has
we were
to
having
be
that
poor.
conversation, right?
Yeah,
It's like, hey, like not everyone can have a good game. Like someone's gonna get shafted. Someone's
Yeah.
gonna get the shaft. And in
SG
this
did
game,
not
they're
get the
like they
memo.
drafted and played so greedy. They were like nobody's gonna get the shaft. But in reality, everyone got screwed over because of their laning phase
Yeah,
decisions. I think.
basically what they did was they had this Necro off lane and they tried to make it work by having the Nyx down at bottom lane 24/7, which I feel like if I were to have the Monkey King down there, I would have the Nyx helping the mid, mana burning the Invoker so that Invoker doesn't get fat
Yeah.
Yeah.
that fast, and just leave the Monkey on his own at bottom and let the Necro have the safe lane so that I would at least bare minimum secure. I would choose to secure the Necro's lane instead of like ditching the Necro to the off lane and securing the Monkey's lane, because I think Monkey with little farm can still do at least something, and push out safer later. But Necro with little farm has a lot of problems later.
Yeah, I think maybe the idea in their head was that like, okay, we give this monkey this 1v1, and then monkey is going to like make that rotation down to bottom lane. Like,
Then he
at
can't
level
buy.
6,
Then
level
he
7.
can't buy better.
He
Fury.
creates space.
I think
for
then he-
necrophones.
then
Yeah,
he-
but he doesn't even build like early game
Yeah.
focus, right?
If he wants
So-
to play like that, he can't buy Battle Fury, I think. Because if he
Yeah.
buys Battle Fury, then he continues to take farm. I mean, it's really good on the hero to scale, but then it's going to come at the expense of your teammates because everyone's having a bad time.
Yeah, it might be good to do that if you know that you're going to be having a long game.
Yeah,
And this was not a long game, in fact. Not in a game like that. It was a dominating performance, sure. But we didn't also see the SG that we saw previous series that they played against
Yeah.
VG. I mean, we praised them on their coordination and their synergy. It wasn't really there as much. Could the pressure have gotten to them?
they can't play Dota this game. That's why you can't see anything, because
Yeah.
everything is so bad in the early game. Like they lost their lanes, like 2 lanes, and Tide will still get like the only lane I would say that they at least won was the Monkey's lane, but it's a Monkey lane.
Yeah.
If you don't even win that lane, then the game is just like pretty much over at that point. But
Yeah.
early game, 2 lanes down, Monkey only one having a good time. Tide had some experience and they start to group up and they just got too much on the Invoker, like too many resource, like too much gold, too much kills on the Invoker. He got like what, 15 minutes Aghanim's? I think 15, whatever, like it was so early.
Yeah, level 20 by 25 minutes.
Yeah, and Night Stalker just did, like he got so much opportunities to do a lot of things because the enemy picked really weak supports,
We made him the MVP of this game. He created so much space in the early game.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you're kind of like inherently set up to be the MVP, just because like so much of this was focused on the early game, and they had such weak laning phase on the side of SG Esports that there was opportunity for Night Stalker to do a lot, not just against the cores, but you also said right, like you've got really weak supports.
Yeah.
There was this concept early into 7.0 where it was really important to pick the biggest bully. Right, so it was this concept that like the 4 position that roams around and picks up these bounty runes and stuff. It's a hero that can't be challenged.
Yeah.
Right, so we had like Spirit Breakers, we had Clockworks, like those kind of heroes in a 1v1 that you just can't do anything about
Florida.
because so many people were focused on like bounty runes and roaming into mid that these heroes were so good because you would like sit on a bounty rune and like another like the 5 position would rotate onto the bounty rune and all of a sudden you run into a Clockwork, like oh you're screwed. The runes are being controlled as well as the bounty runes. It's like that's the concept. And so here, this Night Stalker, like he's the biggest bully in this
Yeah.
game. So not only is he able to beat out all of the cores, like they're all susceptible to, especially in that mid lane,
Yeah.
super susceptible to that Night Stalker, but also the enemy supports. Like none of them could challenge a Night Stalker.
No.
So he's just free to basically fight whoever he wants.
And we're gonna take a look at how many times he fought people, as we have the highlight of the game. Basically a rundown of what happened in the kills, the lanes. 4DR already having a rough game for sure, and GH is coming in from the side,
Yeah, this
stopping
is-
the rotations of SG, making Crystal Maiden feel useless.
This is like perfect. Like 4 minutes, nighttime. The Night Stalker and
Yeah.
Chen just controls the rune, picks up the illusion rune, and then both move to mid at the same time, and they were able to pressure and take. The tower went down so early. Like there's not much the Ember Spirit could have done this game in the early stage.
Poor Crystal Maiden. I was so excited to see it being played as well.
Yeah, this is
But,
like one of those few moments where like, oh, maybe they can get some more turn kills.
Oh,
like
there goes
maybe-
your shield, your flame guard.
Or maybe he can't.
And while they do end up killing Miracle, and they also kill GH here.
Yeah, but
It's
the
like not
carry,
the clear
the
win
carry
that
had
you
to
wanted.
move down to help. This early.
Yeah, they had to move the carry, and they still lost the Ember, and I think they lost the Nyx as well underneath the tower.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, we're what, 16 minutes into the game?
I mean, the game. I think the game only went a bit longer because they sort of like threw a little bit, and Kuro went a Dagon. He didn't go for like the standard mech. He was like just like they were so far ahead.
Yeah, it was supposed to be this great idea that you said, right, Winner, is that you have this mech so effective against the Reaper site,
Yeah.
percentage-based damage.
I mean, you already
He
saw
doesn't
the
even
Hammer
go it
God.
because he's like, ah.
I think this game is like a lot of it has to do with like strategy, like how the game played out and the heroes that they picked out. I think one of the greatest mistakes that SG made this game was they were trying to secure too many lanes or secure the wrong lanes,
Yeah.
resulting into the snowball of the Chen tide, and they can't really defend because they lost like the lane so badly.
So close. Yet so far.
You enjoy looking at the Necros ulti. I actually
Yeah, I
noticed.
did.
I
I was
noticed
like,
Shiva enjoys
He
looking.
he almost got Kuro with that. He just walks away with a little bit of health.
You were the one who spammed Necro this patch, right, Chiba?
Yeah.
And she's not afraid to
I
admit,
am not
you know?
afraid. I think a lot of people have spammed Necrophos over the years, over the days. Sorry, these months.
Yes.
Because this is the
Months
time
is
to still get some
7.0.
free MMR with that. Easy. No, but at this point, the game's already over, right? Liquid's already
Yeah.
dominating, and you see them try so hard, and you actually saw that 40R makes some nice plays on the Ember, trying to just go in and out of the fight, but he's just barely tickling Liquid at this point.
Yeah,
One thing I noticed is
Oh,
like
and now he's dead.
they don't really prioritize Night Stalker. In the first series earlier, both games Night Stalker wasn't banned. They didn't pick the Night Stalker. They picked the Earthshaker over the Night Stalker. And this game, they picked Nyx over Night Stalker again.
Yeah.
And against Liquid, there's so many heroes to ban. So
For me, that makes no sense. Like the Earthshaker, I think, is like somewhat comparable to the Night Stalker, like different strengths, but I would put them on like a same tier level before positions. But Nyx over Night Stalker, like no way.
I mean, I know
I'd take Night Stalker
I
every
think
day.
some teams pick Nyx because of like what the opponents meet. Like he's good in certain heroes that Nyx counters, so they pick the Nyx over the Night Stalker. But then you better have a solid plan giving away the NS. You better have good lanes. But when you pick, they already plan to pick the CM, I think maybe the CM was a reaction to the Chen. Then it seemed like really weak against the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
They probably have to come with a better idea in the second game, like a more solid strat, not just they pick Chen. Let's pick this support because this support is good against Chen, but it doesn't really come as a whole. It doesn't come off like they have a whole solid idea where they're gonna pick CM and this is gonna happen, and this hero is gonna deal with an NS.
Yeah.
Like they lost all the lanes and it was really really difficult.
It was like the opposite of that game 2 from Liquid, where the draft looked like, in my opinion, it looked like a little bit weak. There was some obvious weaknesses, and then it all came together when they had the Sand King,
Yeah.
right? Initiation team fight, like, okay, now it covers that weakness, right? Here was like the opposite, where it felt like they were like, oh, this hero is going to be able to do this against this, and then when it all comes together, it just looks like garbage.
Yeah, we are luckily having a game 2 for SG to recover and have a chance to make it to that third game. We're in the winners bracket of Group A for the Starladder I-League Invitational. We'll be right back after the break with more Dota 2.